If you're the type of nut job who correctly believes the government is controlling you by controlling the weather, then this next story's for you. Me and my family hunkered down on Saturday night to get some sleep, only to be kept up until the early hours of the morning with what sounded like bombs going off outside. All right, I don't know what bombs going off sounds like, but it was really loud. The sounds we heard were the trees on our property toppling over one by one, destroying everything in their path. Why? Because of an ice storm, one with an intensity that we haven't seen since the Great Ice Storm of 1998. Yeah, that's right. Here in Ontario, Canada, we just experienced a record-breaking ice storm just days after the beginning of spring. Huge, thick trees were completely uprooted from the weight of the ice. The trees littered our streets, landed on top of our houses and cars, and left 500,000 of us without power for up to a week. That's 3% of the total population of Ontario taken out in one fell swoop, no pun intended. This came after a highly unusual winter here in Ontario, where we endured the kind of constant, relentless snowfall we haven't experienced in decades. To put it in perspective, in the second week of February, we had more snowfall than the entirety of the 2024 winter season. Yeah, so what, right? Precipitation is unpredictable and changes from season to season. I agree with you. But with the fresh installation of Carney the Climate Clown and an election just weeks away, I couldn't help but be skeptical. I know that cloud seeding can increase snowfall, and I know that it can cause extreme weather events. So I began researching weather modification in Canada. And what I discovered turned my skepticism into full-blown disbelief. That discovery was a little-known experiment called the Alberta Hail Project, a research project conducted in Alberta, Canada from 1956 to 1985, sponsored by the Alberta Research Council and Environment Canada to study hailstorm physics and dynamics. Now here's where it gets interesting. The information gathered over the almost 30 years it ran was used to inform and design a program that still exists today called the Alberta Hail Suppression Project, a weather modification program that uses cloud seeding to reduce the severity of hailstorms in Alberta. And I'd say it's working really well, as just last year, a cloud-seeded hailstorm in Alberta turned out to be the second costliest disaster in Canadian history, resulting in $3 billion in damage. Let me repeat that for my Canadian followers who may have been briefly knocked out by a block of ice. I'm not saying it was the second costliest disaster of the year. I'm saying a modified hailstorm in Alberta, Canada was the second costliest disaster in recorded Canadian history. There were 130,000 insurance claims filed in a single day as a result of the August 5th hailstorm in Calgary. People are still working through the claims process for properties as a result of the hailstorm, but most of the auto insurance claims have been resolved, with a large portion of vehicles ultimately written off. Well, that's one way to eliminate gas-powered vehicles by the year 2035. Just smash them with tennis-sized ice balls until there are none left. And this isn't the first time a seeded storm has caused such devastation. Coming in fourth place for the costliest disasters in Canadian history is the Calgary hailstorm of 2020. Another cloud-seeded storm. In Colorado, cloud seeding efforts aimed at reducing hail in the San Juan Mountains were followed by a particularly severe hailstorm in 2007. A storm so catastrophic that it led to speculation that cloud seeding in many instances can worsen severe weather conditions. A severe hailstorm hit Victoria, Australia in 2010, and the Regional Weather Modification Program had been using cloud seeding in the area. China, which has conducted extensive cloud seeding programs, experienced several reports of intensified storms following cloud seeding operations. Some of these storms included severe hail and increased rainfall that caused flooding. Now fast forward to just 6 days ago in 2025, where we were hit with what I suspect will make it to the top 10 list of costliest Canadian disasters. I have neighbors who have lived here their entire lives telling me they've never seen anything like this. I'm speaking with linemen who are saying this is worse than the infamous Canadian ice storm of 1998. And as a result, I'm becoming less and less convinced that this was an act of God. So imagine my surprise when I found this. Yet another large government-funded study on winter weather from 2022. Just like the Alberta Hail Project, only this time the focus is on, you guessed it, freezing rain and ice storms. This is an excerpt from the Winter Mix website. Some winter storms bring glorious heaps of snow. Some instead bring ever-annoying sleet. Still others cause terrible downpours of freezing rain, leaving centimeters of ice and trails of destruction in their wake. Understanding and predicting the type of precipitation that falls when the air is near freezing is crucial for both human and natural systems. Yet it remains one of the toughest challenges in meteorology today. And it links to the 1998 ice storm. Wow, how lucky for them that after almost 30 years, they finally have a real-world ice storm of this magnitude to study. The timing is impeccable. It almost makes you wonder if, just as we saw with the Alberta Hail Project, that the government is using the research from Winter Mix to predict the perfect weather conditions for cloud seeding a disaster. I know, call me crazy, but the timing for such a development couldn't be more perfect, as our new Prime Minister Mark Carney has centered his entire platform on the emergency of climate change. An emergency he has plenty of incentive to manufacture himself. When asked why he's so committed to climate change, he had this to say. When I became governor of the Bank of England, which oversees the insurance industry, I saw the number of extreme weather events had tripled, and the cost of those events had gone up 5 times in a quarter century. These things really concentrated my mind on climate. Oh really? The cost of extreme weather events went up 5 times in 25 years, a time frame perfectly in line with the massive increase in weather modification projects. Now I'll give him one thing, Mr. Carney has completely changed my mind on climate change. I now believe that the climate is changing and that those changes are definitely man-made. The only point we disagree on is who and what we need to eliminate to solve the problem. Alright guys, that's it for me today. If you like this video, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and check out some other videos from my channel. Also, this channel is completely demonetized by YouTube, so if you want to show me some support, please consider subscribing to my locals. I post a post show after each YouTube video every Friday. Alright, I love you so much. Goodbye.